Is your cloud storage filled with document upon document of lore sheets, writer's notes, and probably a digital mimic or two ready to pounce? I thought so, you nerds! I have just the solution for your world building and DMing needs, and it's World Anvil. World Anvil is a set of world building tools to help you create, organize, and store your world setting, whether it is for your next campaign or your next novel. Recommended by amazing GMs like those over at Critical Role, Ginny D, and your favorite drag queen turned GM. That's right, me. I recommend it. I highly recommend it. I have it. I've been using World Anvil for years to work on my little world called Telric, and it's great to have just a place to organize my thoughts where it's not just a folder within a folder within a folder. It asks you some really comprehensive questions to make sure your world is fully fleshed out. Use code Shelly51 for 51% off any premium subscription. That's right! That code will get you 51% off your next favorite tool set for the next year. Make sure to check out World Anvil today and get started. And drop your link in the comments because I want to see what you come up with, all right? Check out World Anvil at www.worldanvil.com. Hello and welcome back to After the Table, a TTRPG podcast. 'Tis I, your favorite outspoken drag queen, Shelly Von Miller. I'm not in drag. Fuck you. It's the last day of PAX East. I'm tired. I did one day. I feel obligated. There we go. Ooh. Wow. Me and my writing. Ooh, it is little over a third of the way through the podcast season. And I'm just, it feels weird saying that. It's like, oh gosh, we're almost done. Mm-hmm. If you've been liking the podcast so far, make sure to like, subscribe, rate it, tell your friends, please. Please, for the love of God, tell your friends. But, fun fact, word of mouth is the best way to get anything done, if you didn't know that. But speaking of great people, because we've had a lot of great people on this season, this episode we are joined by writer, gamer, actual play performer, and someone I want to be whenever I grow up. Welcome to the table, Jenn, aka Youngles. Hello. We were just talking about this before we decided to go. It's the last day of PAX East, and we're like, it feels like being in retail again. It feels like being in our 20s, being hungover. Yeah, it does not do well on older people's bodies. It's like,
I will be going home and cocooning, and then not leaving my cocoon for the next 12 hours after that.
Yeah, probably. Basically, I'll be. I have another con after this next weekend. And I'm like,
so sorry.
At least I have to drive. I'm just driving.
What con are you going to?
It's Creators After Dark. It's an adult content creation.
Yeah,
so
I should get into that one. I need to go to.
But for those who don't know who you are, let the people know. I know. I feel like a waiter whenever I do that. Tell the people who you are. Hey guys.
I am from New England. I have to have my donkeys. It's just it's a thing. I did boycott them for a little bit when they were doing those weird ads, and I did not start buying again until they stopped. So my journey into the space, I do lots of things. I wear lots of hats, but my main genre focus branch, whatever, is horror, Asian performer who is also a writer and also works as a Korean pop culture diaspora consultant, and then also I manage OnlyFans creator.
And guess what? We love that. Because guess what? Sex work is what? Real work.
It's a lot of work, actually. Yes. But it all the whole thing just comes back to connection. I just like connecting with people, and these are just all the contexts that I live in which I connect with people in various ways.
Mm-hmm. The amount of adjectives you add on to be like, see, like the little spider network. Mm-hmm. So, question off the top: you manage spicy content, you manage adult content.
how did you get into that space?
So it was, I fell into it. So in 2019, I went to my first PAX East ever. I grew up very like sheltered as a kid in some ways and not in others. So like conventions weren't really on my radar. So a friend was like, hey, I have some tickets. Do you want to go? And I was like, okay. And the geekmom.com was doing a panel on, this is a very, like, I will get there. But geekmom.com was doing a panel on parenting kids and using gaming for neurodivergent children, of which I have. So I went up to them after the panel and I was like, oh my gosh, I have a tiny little blog where I talk about autism and being a parent of children with autism and my journey into figuring out my ADHD situation. Can I write for you? And they were like, send us your blog. So I sent it to them. A week later, they were like, write for us. So I wrote for geekmom.com for a while. I wrote like a Magic the Gathering, how to get into Magic the Gathering for moms. I wrote, I would get like trains, because trains was like, you know, the thing. So trains, board games, things like that. I was able to interview, her name is totally escaping me now, but she was the producer on Star Wars Clone Wars, and she was the producer on Singing Monsters, the live action show that they did. So things like that. I used that blogging experience to get into a nonprofit that I will not mention because it was not a good experience. And a board member of that nonprofit saw my business development stuff and was like, do you want to come work for me for this agency? So I went to go work for this agency, and they were developing a model department. And so that's kind of how I fell into this work, and the rest is kind of history after that, but now I freelance.
Nice. What has been the most difficult part of being like, this content is valid and should be, one, protected by the people who make it, but also not so heavily regulated by the government? Because, hey, guess what? The government's trying to...
It's been a struggle.
Yeah.
When we first started, full transparency, my business was doing way better than it is now, simply because of the fact that the laws make it more difficult for us to sell the things that we need to sell. We don't have access to the same users. People are leaving the platform. They're also not doing great things, right? Because they also donate money to APAC. So there's a lot of like, you have to make concessions. Every person has to come to a point where they have to decide if they're gonna self-sacrifice, right? And to a certain point, because like sex work is very hard to do, and having the access to do it from your house makes it safer, it makes it more accessible for people, but with that comes like the gentrification and things like that on top of that. So you have to be mindful, but it has been a lot more difficult now with all of the things that are happening. But I think the biggest misconception about what I do is I'm not selling sex. I'm selling a fantasy connection, a parasocial relationship to a certain point. The sex is the vessel that gives people the community that they're looking for. To be seen, to be heard, to be accepted, to be whatever. And so that's really the angle I come from, versus like an agency, for example, that is going to send a message every 20 minutes out to make sure that they're getting as much money out of the people that your community as possible.
Yeah, because they're wanting to get their percentage as quickly as possible.
Right. They're not there to create the space for community, which also means that they end up overriding boundaries a lot of times to get that money. So they might play on the parasocial of, oh, maybe I'll be your girlfriend someday. And we don't do that. We don't do any of that. We're very like...
I hear those stories and I'm like, that wasn't them.
Yeah.
I was like, that's definitely...
Yeah, which makes it more difficult because people want that parasocial fantasy, but it puts the clients at risk.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, moving into the tabletop space, there's been some leeway, not a lot, into the inclusion of making sure sex workers in the space feel seen and also represented, but it's still
a lot, because I think the conversation is incomplete.
Yeah.
Because I think there's two parts of the conversation that I see happening right now. One side is whether or not we should be doing sex in APs, specifically, like as in role play, and then another conversation about including sex workers into APs. And I think that they're interlinked.
But nobody wants to interlink.
But nobody wants to interlink them, because I think sex workers are the avenue to get sex into APs in a way, because a lot of us know how this industry works.
Yes. Also, the safety aspect.
The safety aspect. It's not that I'm sex repulsive or that sex avoidant. It's that I don't trust that my boundaries are going to be necessarily respected. Being a femme-presenting, conventionally attractive, Asian person at a table with anybody that I do not know personally or does not know my specific situation or context, it's very like I've been invited to 3 to 4 tables this year alone, under the guise of let's play a game together, only to be hit on by those people within the next 3 months. So then I have to drop the table. There's no recourse for that. Do you know what I mean? There's really no way to explain other than you made me uncomfortable. Yeah. And then it becomes a conversation of, maybe you're just full of yourself. Maybe you're just overthinking it. Maybe you're just, I wasn't doing that. You were just
reading too much into it.
So now I just block them. I don't even have the conversation anymore.
That's a wild way to gaslight people. It's like, are you sure? I wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And sometimes it's like really subtle, and sometimes it's like, you know, they'll just start telling me I'm pretty or whatever, and I don't like talking about it because it feels like, because of my upbringing, it feels very conceited. I'm not saying that I'm pretty, I'm saying I understand I am conventionally attractive, and so that is like a thing that I have to look out for, which makes it difficult to have open sexual roleplay situations with other people at tables.
Yeah. So
there's that part of the conversation, and then there's people that just don't want to play games with sex workers.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you just want to have sex. I'm like, no, actually.
Which is wild, because it's so much more about exploration.
Yeah.
And like the experience of exploring it. Like my favorite type of things is when community members ask for things that client, not outside of boundaries obviously, but just like stretching the imagination a little bit, like, well, can I have this? And then like trying to figure out how to incorporate that custom into the brand that you already do. Mm-hmm. That's very like creative stuff that I like to like put together.
Yeah. There's a whole conversation of just like the TTRPG space.
We love you, but you need work.
Yeah.
Well, that comes down to the mentorship that we were talking about before we roll, because we're both older in the space.
Yes.
So oftentimes, because of how I look, this just happened on Blue Sky recently.
Same.
We look younger than we are. And so people will approach me as a 20-year-old white woman when I say things. I am a 40-year-old Asian non-binary person. And I began my queer like exploration and stuff when I was like a teenager, right? Which is a lot of people in the space now just got to a point of liberation where they feel comfortable enough to start exploring that. Yeah. So you have experienced people.
You have the elders.
Listen
to your elders.
Elders who are mixed in with inexperienced people, and it's causing, I think, a lot of like, because this generation is so, the upcoming generations are so like, we have all the information in our pocket, we don't need you, it feels like, in a certain extent. So it becomes like, they just haven't lived the experience in order to be available to get the information yet, right? Yeah. But I get into a level of frustration because I'm like, there are people in your space, there are people around you that you could be listening to, asking, learning from, which is how we learned queer culture and, you know, subcultures and things like that. And a lot of our growing up, we were watching our elders die. So one of the big, sometimes I get a little defensive because I'm like, I wish we didn't have to grasp onto whatever we had left.
Yeah, it's one of those things of, please listen. I want to help you as much as I can. I'm the eldest daughter, the big sister in my family, and so like I'm like, I do the big sister thing of like, okay guys, let's bring it in. You're acting like a fool, or like I have to step in and be like, no, don't do it. But I want to have trust me, as somebody who's had the experience, you don't want it. But I'm like, you know what?
It's a canon event.
You know what? It is a canon event. Have your fun. Goodbye.
That's what I say too. It's a canon event then. Yeah. Like, you can only help people so much, but I think this idea of like not seeking mentorship, right?
The not seeking mentorship because it's like, oh, I could just Google it. It's like, Google will get you so far, and especially in the content creator space and in the TTRPG space, you're inundated with, hey, this is the 5 best ways to get your content at the top of the charts. And it's like, honey, we've been doing that I've been making content since 2008. I've seen and heard everything. I've seen every fucking algorithm known to man. And people are like, oh, I'll just trust the algorithm in this video I listened to. And I'm like, oh, okay.
One of the biggest frustrations of my job specifically is that intersection of people thinking that they can get the information they need off the internet for free, and then knowing how to use that information correctly.
Yeah. And it's been especially since COVID.
Yeah.
And a lot of sex workers had to switch, especially if they were like in-person sex workers.
Right.
They've had to switch to doing digital stuff. It's especially in the content creator space and like the adult content space. One side can rely on an algorithm, while like the adult content you cannot. And since COVID, a lot of sex workers have gone on to the platform and like, this is my journey and everything like this. This is how I'm like transitioning from, you know, this way of me, you know, being a sex worker to online. And people are like, oh, I'll just follow what they're doing. And it's like,
let me give you the rundown. This is the information that nobody ever gets. We did a workshop on Friday, where I was doing one-on-one with people about this actually here. We are always trying to copy what other people do because we see what other people are doing and we go, okay, I'm gonna do it that way, and it never works because it's not your way. And we get so stuck in our imposter syndrome. You're marketing to a former version of you, which is something I got from a business coach, that there is something that you need currently that you do not have. Then you're gonna make the thing that you need. And then you're gonna market that thing to the former version of you, right? Mm-hmm. And this gets tricky when we're talking about sex work because people don't fully understand like what that means. But when it comes to sex work or any sort of adult content or any content, the thing that nobody does is figure out who they're selling to.
Exactly. You gotta do like the who, what, where, when, why.
You need to do a character creation for the person that you want to buy your product.
What is the fantasy that you're wanting, even if you're making just regular content?
Yes.
What is the fantasy?
Yes.
What is the ideal person that you are wanting to watch your content, to imbibe your content, to like continuously listen to your content?
Right. You need to make the content for you, which there's an asterisk there, and you need to sell it to the people. So like if you're making things for people, it's not going to be good because you're worried about what other people are thinking, you're worried about what other people are going to do with it, you're worried about their perception, you're worried You need to make it for yourself, especially sex content. If you're doing online stuff or you're going to get burnt out real fast and you are not going to have any fun. Yeah. You need to make it for yourself, and then you have to figure out who would want to buy it, and then you need to market to that person. One of the biggest things I see game designers do is they market to other game designers. The thing that APs have a problem with is fandom.
Yeah, it's marketing. Basically, APs, they market to other...
You market to other APs.
We
all know each other.
Yeah.
We all work together.
It's a very ancestral fucking group of us. It's just like, oh, we might be across the world from each other, but it's like, oh, we all want, it's like a good job.
The internet is really big, but the niches are very small.
Yeah.
And the niches that I incorporate, like I know a lot of people in the Korean spiritual community just because that's a niche that I'm in. I know a lot, like we all kind of, and it sounds really redundant, but once you are just in a space long enough, all of the other people fall off, and it's like the core, and then eventually you just get to learn that core. So game designers, the biggest problem in tabletop is that game designers are marketing to other game designers. They are marketing things that they think are cool because they made it for themselves, which is the good first step. Game designers are too busy designing games to buy games. We all buy games.
Yeah.
But we need to be marketing outside of that. For example, like if you have a game that's a cooking game, that's really cool. marketing it to other game designers in the fashion of, here are the mechanics of the game, that's cool. A lot of us are making APs, but we're not taking those APs, like the companies that are making those games are not taking those APs and being like, hey, look how much fun you fan person that watches maybe Critical Role or Dimension 20, look at how much fun you could have with this game over here, doing the same type of thing.
There's been a few that I've seen that like reach out to like studios though, that make APs and like, hey, look what you can do. Like Critical Role Darrington Press, Critical Role did it with their Daggerheart campaign frames. They had that whole series. A company that was in LA, I don't think they exist anymore because their CEO.
Well, I mean, even look at Critical Role, right?
Yeah,
Critical Role is not marketed as a tabletop actual play.
It's a group of
friends. A group of friends.
It's like, oh, these are my group of friends that I watch on Thursday.
Right, and they're not a group of friends. I mean, they are, but like that's not what they're selling, right? They're selling, look, come watch me and my friends play D&D. That's what they're selling.
And they were sponsored. They had, I mean, if you look at the old, I mean, they're
like
still
Geek and Sundry and stuff like that.
If you look at the Geek and Sundry stuff, like they had Black Magic Design. They had Black Magic, who they're thousands of dollars worth of cameras and equipment.
Right.
On their streams and like whatever else.
Yeah.
Like I think Wizards of the Coast probably sponsored them at one point.
Yeah.
So.
There's like and I think the other thing too is the illusion of what that means, because like a lot of us are broke. I'm just gonna say it. We're here.
Hey.
I'm here.
Free badge.
Free badge.
Free badge.
If you do a panel and things like that, you get access to things. That doesn't mean we're out here making a ton of money. That doesn't mean we're literally here for the love of the game.
The love of the game. Like I said, been making content since 2008. Some of y'all, most of y'all don't know who the fuck I am.
Right. And that actually brings me to another point, because success, you have to figure out like what success means to you.
Yeah. I equate it to the communities that I've made.
Yes.
The people that I associated with, and if at the end of the day, am I happy with the content that I put out?
Right, exactly.
So, am I happy with making a funny video where I put on the food blogger influencer voice of, hey guys, I'm going to this like viral place. Sometimes, because I think it's just fucking funny and people might find it funny.
Yeah.
But
well, there's like two different types of content creators. There's content creators that make content because it's fun to make content and like making content.
yes.
And most people who get into content creation are not looking to be that kind of content creator. They want to be the Mr. Beast. They want to be the whatever. They're thinking about content creation as an avenue to make money. But in order to, same as sex work, in order to do that, you have to get very analytical with it.
Yes.
Like YouTube Shorts, for example. The ones that are doing huge views, 10 million views, whatever, they're not putting up a video, letting it go, and then seeing what happens. They're putting up the video, they're analyzing, right? If your video is less than 30 seconds long, something I learned from another influencer that I was like studying, if your video is under 30 seconds long, it has to have 100% retention rate for it to hit the algorithm. Yep. If it's 34 seconds long, this person, I will send you the reference. If it's 34 seconds long, it doesn't matter if you have 100% retention rate.
Yeah.
If you cut down a second of the video, they said that was like a 6% increase in retention. So these are the type of analytical things that these content creators teams are doing to make sure that they are maximizing views.
And let's get it real, teams. They have these, especially with the older, established, more successful content creators.
Oh, for sure.
They have a crew. They have an assistant, a videographer, several editors. They have a long form editor, a short form editor. They have backup editors. They have drivers, security, like agents, everything. That's at the top 1%. And that's probably the same with the sex work industry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Top 1% as well, like sex work content creators. And then there's everybody else.
Yeah. So what success looks like, you have to get outside of the mindset of going after the dangling carrot.
Yeah.
Because the 1% content creators that are the people that are at the top are being used to dangle the carrot. For me, I only care about making enough money to pay my bills, to live the lifestyle I live, which is not like it's not crazy at all. Like I rent a house, you know what I mean? I'm just a normal person. And I'm not out here trying to like maximize my content, but a lot of people want that effect and don't understand that it's all data analyzing.
Yeah.
It's not for the love of the game.
It's for the love of the number.
Right. Which is valid and fine, but it's just a different strategy.
But you have to, it's also the mindset of, you're looking at the data and then wondering why you're getting burnt out.
Yep.
Because you're wanting to make fun content, but you're like too engrossed. And it's like, trust me, I have friends, hi friends, you probably know who you are. Let's be real. There's a reason for the burnout. There's a reason why you're like, trust me, I've been there, I've done that. Onto the mentor thing again. It's just listen to your elders. If you need an ear, sometimes being frustrated is okay.
My goals for content. So a lot of people have asked me how I market my business, and I don't market my business because A, referrals are better. B, oftentimes when I try marketing, I get people that are just not ready for me. They want that, they want the assistance, they want the help, but they don't have the means or even need me, to be quite honest, because they're not looking for, they're looking for an easy ticket. Like, oh, I'll just give this to you and you can do it for me. And like, that's not how we work. You are the content creator, you are the person, you have to do the thing. But if you're also not willing to take down a video, re-edit it, put it back up, and see if it does better, that is what those content creators are doing.
Oh yeah.
They're not just, and I think we're afraid also to be seen as inauthentic.
Yeah, the influencer voice, the re-uploading, the resharing of like, look, I'll be real, I put the same video on several platforms.
Yeah. Which is not what you're supposed to do if you want to be a successful content creator according to those that be.
Yeah. You stick to one platform, one niche. There's a reason. I tried to do the niche thing for a very long time. Beauty influencing, food blogging.
Right.
Like, it got so, like, you run out of ideas and you're chasing trends.
Yeah, it literally becomes work.
Yeah.
And passive income, I think, is the biggest destructive term when it comes to content creation.
It's like, oh, passive income, this is a passive income, and also you'll get sponsorships, which are more passive income, and it's like, most of the times you don't get paid for those sponsorships.
Yeah, and sponsorships, like, there comes a time in every creator's life where they have to decide for themselves what is important. And you see a lot of creators use terms like no ethical consumption under capitalism and rest is a form of radicalization to excuse themselves for working with companies maybe, or maybe shifting their content idea to be more focused on money, and that's fine. I think that if you know what your goal is, the problem is that people don't know what their goal is.
Yeah.
They want the money of a successful content creator, but they want the ability to focus on community, and those are two separate goals, and you can't have both.
Yeah. As long as if you get sponsorships, find sponsorships that align with your values,
Right.
with what your community wants to see. You're not gonna, if you're a TTRPG content creator on Twitch, you're not gonna take oh god, what's the stupid game that everybody takes sponsorships for? Like,
Obojima?
I was not talking about a TTRPG, I was talking about a video game, but we could get into Obojima.
I said ew every time I walk by their booth today.
I didn't even realize they were here. I think they've learned. No, they haven't.
No, they haven't.
Because let's talk some shit. I don't mind. OBG, I thought it was a great idea because I was like, oh, it was a great idea, and then you look at what it is and who is putting it together, and it's like, oh.
I can give you a good example. Obajima has one consultant that I think that I know of who
That's what I've
also
heard.
potentially is also a writer uncredited. So, which that person can do whatever they want.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
Contrast to that, I'm consulting for a project that is based off of K-pop. And so the difference, just to show you the difference, we have multiple cultural consultants. Multiple Korean Americans, not only in the consultation space, but also in the writing, in the dice making, in all of the little aspects in the art. We're looking, it's multifaceted because I focus on Korean diaspora pop culture, right? Because that's my like expertise. I was born in South Korea. I grew up there, going back and forth in the military. But unlike a lot of military kids, Korea was not dependent because my dad was an MP, so he wasn't allowed to bring dependents. So my grandparents would rent apartments for us so that we could live off base.
A lot of people would do that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people.
And my placement in on-base school was temporary, depending on if somebody else needed that spot. So I was in Korea in the 90s when K-pop was evolving, and so I've like been in these streets for a minute, and my access to both cultures gives me a little bit more insight than maybe some other Korean people that don't have the access, right? That are maybe more assimilated, whatever, which is not their fault. But that's the difference, is that we have multiple Korean people on this project because there are multiple different ways to be Korean, and every single one is valid. And making sure that everybody feels seen as much as we can is important. Having one person of the context as a consultant is your token friend. Yeah. Like your token person. That person is there to take the brunt, and it doesn't even matter if that's your intention or not. That is what's going to end up happening. So if you are creating projects that are outside of your context, you need to make sure you are talking to multiple people from multiple like facets of that context to get the full picture of how to do it like well.
TTRPGs, I feel like, no offense, TTRPG space, let's be real.
Somebody said that we needed a heal, and I volunteered. So
same. The elder millennials will just be like, yes, what are you doing? Stop being a dumbass. But there's just been a lot of things lately, a lot of companies or studios or anything like that, whether they're writing TTRPGs or creating content around it or making a product, that have been just horrendous for what the vibe is supposed to be for a TTRPG space, which is we're rolling dice, having fun.
It's just games.
It's just
mine likes to say.
When people get too like, I'm like, guys, we're literally playing make-em-ups on the fucking internet. Like, let's be for fucking real.
There are two sections of TTRPG space when it comes to, I think, like personalities. There's the people that are here to make money, same thing, and then there's the people that are here for the love of the game. And the people that are here for the love of the game see the people making money and do what they're doing, and we don't want to do that because then that means like we're here to, and it just becomes this like.
There's a gradual transition of like, hopefully there's a meeting in the middle, because that money that's flowing in for the people who are just wanting to make money would help the indie projects. And everything like that.
Those of us that are very community oriented have a tendency. That's kind of like why we're all always here, because we have a tendency to go, hey, I would love to do that for you, but that's not my expertise. Yeah. Try this person.
That's also a thing that's not happening in this space.
Not happening in this space at all. If I see any of you add one more hat to your repertoire.
Outside of like, if it's your only project that you're doing, like me, I'm the editor and fucking producer.
That's different, that's different.
But if you're like, I'm gonna come over here and do this, I'm like, there are 20 people behind you that
Right.
could do it better, probably. And that's no shade, no tea, no shade, but
No.
like,
here's the thing. If you're doing everything, you can't do anything well. And this is the biggest thing in the AP space with the freelancer panel. I really wanted to say this, but other people that were on the panel were in different spaces than me, and I wasn't about to lecture everybody. But a lot of you are struggling in freelancing because you're doing too much. You have too many options, you have too many hats you're wearing, and you're not doing any of them well.
yeah.
Because you're trying to make as much money, and I get it. We are all like in a space. Freelancing is hard.
High capitalism.
Capitalism sucks. We are in late stage capitalism. It is the worst. However, we cannot defeat it by repeating and reinserting ourselves into these systems and recreating these systems in spaces that are meant to be building community, which is what's happening. So you have all these people that are like, I am a game designer, I am a TTRPG performer, I am a editor, I am a writer, and you are all those things because you do content creation. But you do not need to sell all those things as a freelancer. You need to pick 3 things that you do, and those are your 3 things. Nobody needs to, like, obviously if you can make content, we
Yeah.
know that you can edit.
Yeah. I'm a freelancer. I do freelance stuff on the side. You know, it's tax season. I'm an admin.
Yeah,
It has nothing to do with the content that I make.
yeah,
I do social media management as well if people
Right.
want it, but it's like admin, virtual assistant, social
but
media
those are all
manager.
things that are the same thing.
Yeah, it's like boop, that's it.
You could say I'm a virtual assistant who covers these specific things,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And it's like outside of that, I'm like I'm not gonna go consult on a book because I don't know how to draw.
Right.
I'm a decent writer, but I'm not, you know. The only thing I would probably want to help consult with is military and history.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you need help with making sure something is historically relevant or you're wanting to pull from history, I'm here. I will use my dropout graduate program knowledge to do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you need somebody to consult on military tactics, hi, military for 8 years. If you know, whatever. But outside of that, I'm not going to be like, oh, I can do this, and this for you. I'm like, you got to pay. That's a la carte. You better pay me a lot.
And that's why a lot of us are struggling too, because a lot of us are so desperate that we're like, oh, you need that. So for example, I'm consulting on a project and they also asked about AP performing and I said, oh, here are a bunch of people that can help you.
Yeah.
Not me.
I don't have time.
Do I do AP performing? Absolutely. Am I going to double dip into this project that I'm already getting paid for? No. I'm going to pass it on to somebody else who can use that money. I don't need to hoard all of that for myself.
Yeah. It's one of those things. I'm a big proponent. It's the historian in me, and also like just an advocate in different spaces.
Right.
I try to build as many resources and people that I know who have this wealth of resources, and be like,
Yeah.
you need help here. Like every time a veteran's like, I need help with my disability claim, I'm not getting the percentage I hit. I was like, hi, there's this national nonprofit that's a bunch of lawyers that fight the government for a fucking reason. So here you go. They do local stuff. And it's the same with AP things. It's like, oh, somebody was like, I just want to raise money for the production of something. I was like, oh, I know a studio that just stood up and they do a lot of horror-based things.
Right.
They'll totally want to do some production with you. Like,
Yeah, and I think it prevents us, like, individualism is a capitalistic Western ideology. And a lot of times people will be like, oh, I didn't invite you because I can't pay you. I didn't ask you to come on this table because I can't pay you. Oh, I wish I could play with you, but like I can't pay you. And I just need y'all to understand you don't have to pay me. If you can pay me, but you
Yes.
don't have to.
as much as I would love to be in a paid gig, I would
Right.
rather just play the game with you.
Yeah, I mean, being paid is nice for sure.
Yeah.
But also,
It's an added bonus.
the other thing, content creation is hard, but like a lot of us are making games and APs and then we're not doing anything with them. We're not using them afterwards, we're not marketing that, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's a lot of work to be done in the AP space that we need to tear down corporate systems and we need to rebuild new systems
Yeah.
that go back to like bartering, for example, but we're all kind of in this rat race right now. And I understand the desperation, I understand the scarcity mindset. However, like for OCD, because I have OCD, something that they teach us for a coping mechanism is if everything is contaminated, nothing is contaminated. So yeah, there's germs, but there's germs literally everywhere. And so everywhere is touched by late stage capitalism. Everywhere is contaminated by Western ideology of individualism and this idea that we need to be doing these projects on our own,
or like I'm the only one that can do it, and I'm like,
I'm the only one that can do it. Yeah,
buddy, I'm here for you. What do you need?
Like
you
I'm
need
a
me
special
to make,
snowflake.
I'm like, you need a poster for your game. I will get on Canva. You tell me what the fuck's up. Like,
and I think part of that is how we make friends now.
It's all online.
It's all online, and we have a hard time asking people for things.
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody the other day, and they're like, yeah, my dad is still friends with people he went to high school with. And I was like,
I don't even know what that's like.
Shit. I was like, I just hit my 20th high school reunion, and I don't like most of those people.
I went to a different high school every year.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, the funny thing is where I went for my 10-year reunion was not the school that I graduated from. It was the school that I went to the longest, and I knew the most amount of people, and it was just like, I did my 10-year and 20-year hit around, and I was like, I'm going to a con to see my online friends. Sorry. And then I ended up having surgery. But that's beside the point. It's one of those, I can understand it. It's like, we don't want to ask for help, so we're searching for it online, and
or we're trying to learn how to do the task ourselves.
Exactly. And it doesn't help that, especially with us, we're latchkey kids, and we had to learn it ourselves, and
it's difficult because, like, for example, I think a lot of that too just comes from not wanting to hear the word no.
Yeah.
Because, like, APs are all about bringing people together and doing things together. And I'm seeing a lot of, like, solo journaling TTRPGs or having it. I love them.
I love them.
I'm also seeing this, like, increase in individuality of people just doing solo TTRPGs as their own content because it's easier.
Yeah.
And
I find it good as a filler, not as the primary thing.
I like it for writing.
That's a perfect thing for writing. Like, oh, I need an idea for like an NPC or like a character in my writing. Let me do a solo.
I did a solo journal TTRPG game of Rillin, which is based off of Myst, and it uses cards, and it's like you have an island and you have like the tower in the middle, and you like flip over the card and it tells you if it's like a number, and you have to like write the scenario that happened that day. That's like each card you flip is like a day, and so you're moving around to try to, and if you hit an ace, it's a whole new island that you're making.
Fun.
It was really, really good. And during the process of it, but I've used Rillin as a like writing prompt to write a fanfic for my Adventures in Superman, where Lois goes to save Superman because somebody is stuck in the tower.
Yeah.
So like that, like I use solo TTRPGs for like that kind of like creative exercise, and some people are doing some really cool things with them on YouTube and stuff like that. But then that's also okay. Now you're doing the editing. Now you're doing this. Now you're doing that. And if it's your personal solo project, it's fine. But I see a lot of APs that could use more help, like a lot of channels that could be bringing in people to do things, and like working together to like create this awesome thing, and then we make it, and then we don't touch it ever again.
Yeah. Oh. Guys, it's okay to ask for help.
It's okay to ask for help.
It's
Please
okay.
ask for help.
Please trust me. If I could afford an editor, I would.
Something that we do in the corporate space that isn't done in the AP space as much as we like to copy corporate is the idea of mentorship. Is this like when you are working in corporate, and you are, one of the biggest ways you can get ahead is by knowing people and finding somebody that does the thing you want to do, and then talking to them about it.
The same with academia.
Right,
Academia does the same thing. It's literally whenever you go to grad school, the reason why you're picked for certain schools is because they have somebody there that is going to be your advisor. Like my thesis advisor for my grad school. Because I asked, I was like, yep, because it was a Christian university. That's a whole other subject. And I was like, you did Google me, right? They're like, yeah, but we have somebody here that likes what you're doing and everything like that. I was like, okay.
Yeah, you can find mentorship everywhere, and these people, the reason I'm here is because somebody took a chance on me, and then somebody else took a chance on me, and then somebody else took a chance on me. But if I didn't put myself in that space to get that chance taken on, then, you know, that wouldn't have happened. But that was all done through community.
Yeah.
That's not me making my social media. People know who I am.
Yeah.
But if you look at my social media, I have like maybe 2K followers on Blue Sky because I nuked my TikTok. But that doesn't influence the work that I get because I've built the community, and I know most of those 2,000 people that follow me on Blue Sky, and I talk to them on a regular basis. And like that's the piece that most people aren't doing. They're just not doing the actual community piece. Streaming and having people in your chat is not building a community. That is your content. You are entertaining.
Yeah.
But
if you do something outside of that, like if you have a Discord server where you have game nights where it's not just, oh, mods host the game nights. You're in there playing games with people. You're the one hosting.
Discords too. That's another thing. A lot of people have Discords. You don't need a Discord. You don't need a Discord for everything. You don't need, not every channel needs a Discord. Not every organization needs a Discord. Not everybody needs a public Discord.
No.
A lot of you do this thing, a lot of us, I should say, because we have all done it. I did it too. A lot of us do this thing where we go, okay, I'm a content creator. I want to be a content creator. And then
X, Y, Z.
I need a Discord. I need a merge line. I need a da-da-da. I need a da-da-da. No, you don't. You just need to explore. You need to be more curious, which is something I've been saying all weekend. You need to be more curious. What does content creation mean for me? Who are the people that I'm trying to reach? My content creation works as my marketing tool. So my business, again, I don't advertise. I just talk about the things I do all the time. I talk about them here. I talk about them to people. I talk about them online. I talk about them during APs and outros and intros. I just talk about what I do. And the more I talk about what I do, the more people hire me for things.
Yeah.
I don't need to be, because social media nowadays has realized that they can get a piece of the pie. And we're all working off of 2020, 2021 ideology when we're referring to the top 5 things you can da-da-da. Just pay them for ads. Because that's gonna fast track you. If you're building community, that's what you need social media for.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, you want to just, it's a whole another subject. Well, this is the part of the podcast where I say, plug your stuff, tell the people where they can find you, everything like that.
Okay, hi, I'm Jenn. You've been listening to me ramble maybe, or not. I'm Youngles on the internet. You can find me mostly on Blue Sky. I am on Reels. I'm not active on Reels, but I'm on there. I mostly post stories about Korean diaspora pop culture things. And then I mostly yell on Blue Sky about everything else.
And then get attacked for it.
And then get attacked for it because they all think I'm a 20-year-old American white woman.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Love that. You can find all their links down below in the show notes, in the doobly-doo, wherever you want to call it. You know, I don't know what Gen Alpha is calling the section where you put things, but there you go. Speaking of finding people on the internet, you can find me everywhere on the internet at Shelly Von Miller, because branding is important, and I don't feel like having 20 different social media handles outside of social media marketing for other people.
True.
Speaking of that, you can find me on Patreon, same thing, where we're going to go record the Table Sets episode. That's for our paid tier, starting at $7 a month. You can choose any content thing, so the performer, the world builder, the content creator, or if you want it all, you can have it all for $25 a month. Outside of that, I love y'all very much. I'm hoping my voice comes back eventually, who knows. I love you guys very much, and I will see you on the internet. Goodbye.